Hey guys, so I am back again, and today I am doing my video on the top 10 worst YA book tropes. So there are plenty of bad book tropes in the young adult world, and it was pretty hard actually to narrow this list down to just 10, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people here who will agree with me on some of these terrible book tropes. So these are book tropes that annoy me. You might love them, I don't, but some of them we all have to agree on that should have been put down pretty early on. Just a heads up to you all, I am not going to reveal titles and authors that do these tropes because I don't want to anger anyone more than I probably already am. Especially because some of these books are still amazing even though they contain these tropes, and others are just terrible because of these tropes. So let's just all think of the books in our heads while I'm talking about these certain tropes. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to think of a few that are the same. Coming in 10th place is one that I really hate, and that is stereotyped characters. So you know, you've got this like most attractive, skinny, pretty girl who is known as like this human version of Satan, who is this absolute bitch, and her jock boyfriend who has no brain in his head, who's just an idiot that does whatever she says so that he can get her to kiss him later on that afternoon, and the smart Asian kid who is really good at science and hacking computers, or the funny black friend who are just always there for comedic relief. And what about like the nerdy boy or the brooding angsty artist, or the fat kid that has no friends who sits at the table who all of a sudden becomes best friends and his life is complete by the end of it. And these are mostly in contemporary, but they do make their way into fantasy and dystopia books. Like, yes, there are characters like that all throughout schools in real life, but not everybody. Not every story has to have the same characters. So if you guys are considering writing a contemporary novel that is based in a high school, why don't we just put one foot outside the box and like make that stupid jock to be someone who's actually really smart, or you know, that smart Asian boy to just be someone who's actually really funny and is really bad at school, or even someone who gets expelled or something like that. And the fat kid, man, he's like a pro wrestler. Like, you know, he eats his food and he has friends and he's happy and funny and he's a good life and he doesn't get bullied. Make that bitchy girl who runs the school to be like the nicest person ever, even though she has the best resting bitch face. Where are like all the normal things in books? Where aren't people on their mobiles all the time? Like, I take mine with me everywhere that I go, and yet half the books that I read, people are just like, oh no, we need to get this person to come out with us, but it's not like we can use our mobile phones. Let's just add some completely random drama into the situation. Why is no one going to the toilet? When do they go to the toilet? And periods, where are periods? Like, I think the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Throne of Glass, and she talks about having cramps. Like, does no other female yet have their period in books? Number 8 for me is bad communication, where an entire book could have been solved if the two characters just talked to each other. Like, everything would have been solved. These people wouldn't have died if you guys had just gone, oh, by the way, I'm gonna make a deal with this bad guy so it saves everyone, and then get their opinion on it. But they don't. They think they can put the whole world on their shoulders and save everybody and not just talk. This next one is one that I'm kind of like on and off about, because in a way I love it when it happens in books, but it's not a realistic thing that happens, and that is when everything turns out okay. These people go through these wars and these huge traumatic experiences, and by the end of the book they're just like, oh yes, everything's fine and dandy, I have no PTSD, I'm fine, I'm not anxious about anything, and they continue to live their lives like watching their friends die had no effect on them. And like in contemporary, these kids who go through these huge struggles with their friends, on families, and then by the end of it, everything's okay. But in reality, nothing is always okay. Like, you fix one problem and there's always something else after that. And these characters seem to be set for life once they solve one problem at the age of 18. Why do authors write these wonderfully created characters and then make them lose their memories? First of all, whenever I read this kind of thing, it's usually just to keep like the plot going, or they run out of time to just fix the problems themselves. They just go, I know what we can do. This character can lose their mind. That way we don't have to deal with all the problems they had in the previous book or before that moment that it happened. And to me, it seems like it's just like one cheap cop-out to not have to go into detail and to fix the problems that were there beforehand. Just fix them. Just don't make them lose their minds. It's just So at number 5 now, and you're probably gonna notice that I'm gonna start to get a little more angrier towards the end because book tropes just really strike my nerves. The chosen one trope, because apparently this young person who has been taken from their normal life and thrown into this other world where they know nothing about it is the only person who can save everybody. Yeah? The 17-year-old person who has no skills whatsoever is the only one to defeat the thousands of years old monster / weird person who's going to kill everybody. It makes sense, right? That they're the chosen one, obviously. You know, I am so envious of all those YA characters that like one day just become so good at something. So this one character could leave their ordinary life in their little village and walk down the road and decide that they are going to become this great assassin. And the first stranger that they meet on the road that tries to attack them, all of a sudden they can shoot and throw knives and beat them up, and they just become suddenly amazing at fighting. And what about those kids in school that are like, man, I'm going to like be honors in this class, and then after a chapter all of a sudden the best person at science and maths and everything like that. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I really wish that I was like those characters, because I could probably do with just taking like 5 minutes to master a skill and become amazing at it. So for number 3 on my list, it really breaks my heart because one of my new favourite book series that I started to read, they used it in the second book recently. And it really broke my heart because it is probably one of it's one of my top 3 most hated book tropes. And they did it. And that one is, I'm not like other girls. What's wrong with being like other girls? Is it the fact that you have like 2 eyes or long hair or breasts? Like, what is wrong with it? Is it because there's something wrong with girls who would rather do their hair and look nice compared to girls who would just slouch around in their pajamas all day, watching TV, reading comic books, eating pizza, doing whatever the hell they want? Because, I mean, in my eyes, there's nothing wrong with either of those things. Like, I would be happy to do both. So why is it that these wonderful book characters believe that there's something wrong with being like other girls? And by the way, to the character that said that, there are plenty of other girls out there like you, especially in young adult books. So I'm not like other girls me, cause you are, okay? And there ain't nothing wrong with that. InstaLove. I'm pretty torn on InstaLove because they can be written in a good way. So for instance, I read one of Colleen Hoover's books lately, and one of those characters in there meet the other character and they spend the entire day together. And it's kind of like ending with love. I'm not actually sure if they use the term love or not, but it makes sense that way. They've actually got to know each other a bit, and so they can feel they have this connection with this person. So yes, InstaLove, that's great because there's a reason behind it. But books that have it like they looked across the room and their eyes made contact, and immediately the pull in my heart made me know that I was in love with them. Or the whole, oh my gosh, look at that handsome man in my dreams. And the next day I wake up and I'm at school and there he is in the hallways. It must be love. I just want to do this to every single one of those books that have those kind of instances. In saying that though, I am pretty biased when it comes to InstaLove because my parents knew each other for a total of 3 days before they got engaged, and now they've been happily married for 20 years or something. I should probably know that. And in the first place for bad book tropes, the one that I hate more than all of the others, and that is love triangles, especially unnecessary ones. Why? Okay, you just making things unnecessarily problematic. Maybe that is the point of half the books, but still, it just angers me. Half the time that you guys have a love interest in there, it's literally like not even a decision. You have these 2 characters both conveniently attractive, and then you have the main protagonist chilling in between them both. But you know from the very beginning that they're gonna pick a certain one. We always know it and we're always right, okay? Like surprises sometimes. Actually, there has always been one book that surprised me, where the main character picked the person you weren't expecting, right? And then the person stabbed her and she almost died. And that's probably like the only love triangle that I was surprised by. And on the note of love triangles that I actually like, there's only one that I would condone, and only one that I would push on people and say, this is the best love triangle you will ever witness. And that is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are gonna agree with me that this is like the best love triangle ever in YA history. And the only one that I would support, because the rest are stupid. Yay! 10 book tropes that I hate a lot, and 10 book tropes that I really am sick of reading about, but at the same time, they're gonna be 10 book tropes that will probably live forever, and I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of more books around there that I'm going to read with them. And hopefully they actually prove me wrong one day, because I wouldn't mind being able to read a book with these tropes in it and still loving it. Sorry if I offended anyone in this video, but you know, these are just my opinions on tropes and books. So I will see you guys soon anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. What is your most hated book trope? Comment below or send me a message on my blog, which I have all links to below. Have a wonderful bookish day and I shall see you guys soon. Say bye, Delilah. Bye.